During a family dinner I hadn't attended in months, I received a message that changed everything. They're not celebrating your stepfather. They're celebrating you.
Check your wine.
Leave now.
I chose to stay.
And that's how I discovered my family wasn't just trying to steal my money. They were planning to steal my entire identity. The very next week, federal agents were knocking on their front door. What's terrifying is how normal everything felt before it all unraveled. I should have expected tension, awkwardness, maybe some passive-aggressive comments about money. But I wasn't prepared for what actually happened, something that feels like the most sophisticated kind of trap. When your own family appears loving and reconciled, you never see the betrayal coming. I walked through the front door, and my mom immediately called out from the kitchen, "Amara, you made it. We're just setting everything up. Come in, come in." It felt like I was arriving at some warm family celebration. My stepfather Richard rose from his recliner when I entered the living room, moving just a beat too slowly, like he was calculating whether we were doing hugs now or keeping our distance. We went with a polite nod. My half-brother Dylan was sprawled on the couch, controller in hand, giving me that practiced, disinterested look he'd perfected since dropping out of college. "Hey," he mumbled without looking up from his game. My stepsister Ivy glanced up from her phone just long enough to wave, then immediately returned to whatever social media crisis demanded her attention. That didn't surprise me. I wasn't there to win anyone over. The dining room table was perfectly set. My chair had been pulled out, waiting for me. A wine glass sat at my place setting, already filled with what looked like expensive red wine. Definitely not the cheap stuff we usually drank. "I remembered you like the good wine," my mom said with a smile that felt rehearsed. "Thought we'd celebrate properly." I hadn't had wine in months, but this wasn't the time to explain my recent health kick. We sat down. Richard carved the roast beef with unnecessary ceremony, making small talk about his accounting firm's busy season. The conversation flowed easily. "How's work going? Still loving that marketing job? Traffic's been terrible lately, hasn't it?" I responded, smiled, even laughed when Ivy told a story about a disastrous photo shoot for her Instagram. Not because it was particularly funny, but because I remembered how to play my part. The successful daughter, the reliable one, the one who kept the peace. Halfway through Richard's story about office politics, my phone buzzed in my purse. Without thinking, I glanced at it under the table. The message was from an unknown number. No emoji, no casual punctuation, just cold, urgent sentences. "They're not celebrating your stepfather.
They're celebrating you. Check your wine. Leave now."
I stared at the screen, then read it again. Around me, my family continued their dinner theater. Mom nodding along to Richard's work stories, Dylan actually participating in conversation for once, Ivy showing everyone photos on her phone. All of it playing out like a perfect family reunion. But someone was telling me to run. I didn't move immediately. My mind cycled through explanations. Wrong number, prank, some kind of scam. But something about the message felt urgent, specific. Too specific. "I'll be right back," I said, pushing back from the table. "Just need to check something upstairs." "Of course, honey," Mom said without missing a beat. "Richard, tell her about the promotion opportunity." I climbed the stairs to the guest bathroom, the one with a door that actually locked properly and walls thick enough for privacy. I sat on the edge of the bathtub and called the number. It rang once. "You're still there?" A man's voice, tense and low.
"Who is this?"
"Marcus Chen. I used to work with Richard. You need to leave. Right now." The name meant nothing to me. "What are you talking about?" "Don't drink that wine. Don't drink anything. Just walk out." My mouth went dry. I hadn't touched the wine yet.
"Why?
"What's going on?" "I can't explain over the phone. Please, just trust me. Get out of there." "Not until you tell me why." Long pause. "They drugged it. They're planning to use your fingerprint to access your phone. But that's not the real plan." Amara, they've been using your identity for months. There are business accounts, loan applications, documents with your signature. They're setting you up to take the fall for a massive fraud scheme. I sat there in the cold bathroom, processing what he just said. How do you know all this? Because Richard did the same thing to me 3 years ago. Nearly destroyed my life. I've been tracking him ever since. This is insane. Your stepfather isn't just an accountant. He runs identity theft operations. Your mom helps by providing client information through her real estate business. They needed someone with clean credit and a professional reputation. Someone they could control. The pieces clicked into place. The months of silence after I'd refused to cover Dylan's gambling debts. The sudden reconciliation. The expensive wine. The perfect family dinner. I have to go, I whispered.
Wait.
If you're going to stay, if you want to catch them, I can help. But it's dangerous. I made my choice. What do I need to do? Quick note, this story is original content. Reposting, revoicing, or using it without permission is copyright infringement. Thank you for respecting creative work. Now back to the story. Being the responsible one never came with a manual, just expectations. Quiet, assumed, and endless. Growing up, I was the bridge between my mom's old life and her new marriage to Richard. When he brought Dylan and Ivy into our family, I became everyone's safety net. It started innocently. Dylan needed help with college application fees. Ivy wanted to attend an expensive art program. Mom and Richard were adjusting to blended family expenses. I had scholarships, worked part-time, saved money. So naturally I helped. The requests grew larger. Ivy's art studio deposit. Dylan's spring break trip. Car repairs, medical bills. The mortgage payment when Richard's firm had a slow month. By the time I graduated and got my marketing job, I wasn't just helping, I was financially supporting half the family. Then came Dylan's gambling problem. Cryptocurrency day trading that turned into a $18,000 disaster. When I discovered he'd been using my credit card, the one I'd given him for emergencies, I finally said no. The family's reaction was swift and unified. I was selfish, cruel, abandoning family when they needed me most. 3 months of complete silence followed. No texts, no calls, no acknowledgement of my existence. Until Richard's 50th birthday invitation arrived. Marcus's voice was steady through the phone. Here's what we're going to do. Go back downstairs. Pretend nothing happened. When they try to drug you, play along. I'll be recording everything from outside. How are you recording from outside? I've been monitoring their communications for weeks. Your phone, when they unlock it, will automatically connect to my system. I'll capture everything they do. I felt sick. They've been planning this for weeks? Months. Amara, they've already opened 3 business accounts in your name. Applied for a $200,000 SBA loan using your credit and employment information. If this goes through, you'll be legally responsible for money they plan to disappear with. The bathroom felt smaller, airless. What about Dylan and Ivy? Dylan's been gathering your personal information through old family documents. Ivy's been photographing your mail, your important papers, whenever she visits. They're all involved. I close my eyes. And if I don't play along, they'll try again. Maybe next time you won't get a warning. I made my decision. Okay, I'm going back down. Remember, act drowsy after about 20 minutes. Don't overdo it. And Amara, once this starts, there's no going back. You'll have evidence that will destroy your family. I walked back downstairs on unsteady legs. They were discussing dessert plans, laughing about some old family story I'd missed. The wine glass sat exactly where I'd left it. Everything okay? Mom asked. Perfect, I said, settling back into my chair. I picked up the wine glass, brought it to my lips, and took a small sip. It tasted normal, maybe slightly bitter. This is really good wine. Only the best for family, Richard said, raising his own glass. We continued dinner. I sipped the wine slowly, deliberately. After 15 minutes, I let my eyelids grow heavy. After 20, I started speaking more slowly, letting my words slur just slightly. I'm feeling a bit tired, I said, pressing my fingers to my temple.
Weird.
I didn't sleep well last night. Wine can do that, Ivy said helpfully. Maybe you should lie down. That's probably a good idea. I stood up carefully, swaying just enough to sell it. Just for a few minutes. They helped me to the living room couch like I was made of glass. Mom pulled a throw blanket over my legs. Richard dimmed the lights. Ivy adjusted the pillow behind my head. Just rest, Mom whispered. We'll clean up. I closed my eyes and focused on breathing slowly, evenly. The house grew quiet except for the distant clatter of dishes being cleared. Then I heard it. Is she out? Dylan's voice, low and careful. Yeah, she's breathing heavy, Ivy replied. Just like you said it would work. Okay, Richard said. Let's do this quickly. Footsteps approached. I felt my purse being moved, heard the zipper. My phone being lifted out. Got it, Mom whispered. Dylan, come here. I need her thumb, Dylan said. Can you lift her hand? I felt my left hand being lifted gently, my thumb pressed against the phone screen. A soft vibration indicated it had unlocked. We're in, Ivy said. Okay, banking apps first. No, Richard corrected. DocuSign first. We need her to sign the final loan documents. Tapping sounds. Long pauses. More tapping. Perfect, Mom breathed. She just authorized the $200,000 loan transfer. My heart was pounding so hard I was afraid they'd hear it. Now the bank transfers, Richard said. Start with the business account. Move $50,000 to Dylan's crypto wallet. Done, Dylan said. God, she has way more saved than I thought. Don't get greedy, Mom warned. We take what we planned, nothing more. We need this to look legitimate. More tapping. I could hear them working methodically through my financial life, transferring money, authorizing transactions, probably signing documents I'd never seen. How long do we have? Ivy asked. She'll be out for at least 2 hours, Richard said. More than enough time to finish everything and clean up the evidence. What about Marcus? Dylan asked suddenly. Everyone went silent. What about him? Mom asked carefully. He's been sniffing around, asking questions about Dad's old business deals. Marcus can't prove anything, Richard said firmly. And even if he tries, who's going to believe him over a family dinner story? They had no idea Marcus was listening to every word. They worked for another hour. I heard them discussing flight schedules, bank account closures, something about a house in Costa Rica. By the time they finished, they'd apparently stolen over $100,000 and committed identity theft on a federal level. Okay, Richard finally said. Put the phone back exactly where it was. When she wakes up, everything should look normal. They repositioned my hand, placed my phone in my purse, adjusted the blanket. Then they moved to the kitchen, speaking in normal voices about coffee and dessert. I waited 10 more minutes before waking up. Oh wow, I said, sitting up slowly and rubbing my eyes. I feel so much better. Sorry about that. Don't apologize, Mom said, appearing with a concerned smile. You must have been more tired than you thought. I should probably head home, I said, standing and stretching. Early morning tomorrow. Of course, Richard said. Thanks for coming. It meant a lot. We hugged goodbye. All of them. One by one. Mom's familiar perfume, Richard's awkward pat on the back, Dylan's quick squeeze, Ivy's air kiss near my cheek. Love you, Mom said as I reached the door. Love you too, I replied automatically. I drove directly to a 24-hour diner and called Marcus. Did you get it all? I asked. Every word. Plus, I tracked their device usage while they had your phone. Amara, they didn't steal $100,000. They committed wire fraud, identity theft, conspiracy, and document fraud.
Federal crimes.
Each of them faces 10 to 20 years. I sat in my car in the diner parking lot, engine running, heat blasting, and cried. Not from sadness, from rage. Pure, clean rage at being betrayed so completely by the people who were supposed to love me. What happens now? I asked. Now we take everything to the FBI. Tomorrow morning. The next morning, I walked into the FBI field office with a flash drive containing audio recordings, financial transaction logs, and evidence of a systematic identity theft operation. The agent who interviewed me was a woman about my age who listened without interruption and took detailed notes. "This is sophisticated," she said when I finished. "How long do you think they've been planning this?" "Months. Maybe longer." "And you're certain you want to press charges against your entire family?" I didn't hesitate. "They're not my family. Family doesn't drug you and steal your identity." The investigation moved quickly. Within a week, federal agents had seized computers, phones, and financial records. They discovered Richard's operation was much larger than even Marcus had known. My family had been running identity theft schemes for over 5 years, victimizing dozens of people. The arrests happened simultaneously. Richard at his office, Mom at a real estate showing, Dylan at his apartment, Ivy at a coffee shop. All of them charged with federal crimes. I didn't feel satisfied. I felt empty. The trials lasted 8 months. Richard got 12 years. Mom got 8. Dylan and Ivy each got 5 with the possibility of parole in 3. All of them lost everything: houses, cars, professional licenses, reputations. I moved across the country and changed my name legally. Started over in cybersecurity consulting, helping other fraud victims rebuild their lives. Marcus became one of my closest friends and business partners. But here's what I didn't expect: the guilt. Even knowing they'd betrayed me, even seeing the evidence of their crimes, I still sometimes wondered if I destroyed my family or saved myself. 6 months after the trials ended, I received a Facebook message from a cousin I barely knew. I heard what happened with Aunt Carmen and Uncle Richard. Something similar is happening to me with my parents. They've been asking weird questions about my job, my bank accounts. Can we talk? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Yes. Let's talk." Because I realized my story wasn't just about one family's betrayal.
It was about a pattern.
And maybe, just maybe, I could help break it for someone else.
So, what do you think?
Did I go too far or not far enough? Was I right to destroy my family to save myself, or should I have found another way? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories about families, betrayal, and the complicated line between justice and revenge.